Listen up, everyone, because we are diving straight into the deep end today. Welcome to this elite masterclass explainer. I am your coach, and today we are undertaking a high-stakes, deeply analytical deconstruction of the Cambridge AS Level Afrikaans Language 8679 exam. Specifically, we are zooming in on an absolutely massive, completely critical topic area, human relationships, with a laser focus on family activities and new patterns. Or, as you'll see it on the paper, Gezinsactiviteiten en nieuwe patronen. Now, if you have been sitting there, staring at past papers, struggling to figure out exactly what the examiners are looking for when you analyze these complex Afrikaans texts, or if you're pulling your hair out trying to break into those top-tier marking bands, you are in the exact right place. We are going to build a complete, foolproof, rigorously tested strategy for this exam. I've spent years analyzing real examiner reports, and I know exactly where candidates bleed easy marks. We are going to patch those holes today and turn your exam technique into an absolute machine. 15%. That single number instantly establishes our stakes for this session. The family activities and new patterns topic accounts for approximately 15% of your total marks in paper 2. Think about that for a second. This is not just a minor subtopic you can skim over on the bus ride to the exam hall. This is a foundational pillar of your final grade. This is where you encounter those complex, high-tariff questions, the ones worth anywhere from 9 to 15 marks. You literally cannot afford to lose easy points here. The difference between an average grade and top-tier excellence lives inside this 15%, and by the end of this explainer, you are going to own it. All right, here is our exact roadmap for today's strategic briefing. First, core principles. Second, the procedural framework. Third, critical examiner traps. And fourth, mastering evaluation. Let's move right into Section 1, Core Principles, Decoding the Examiner's Mind. Before we can even think about writing out answers, we have to understand the academic benchmarks of the assessment framework. There is a fundamental rule of Cambridge exams we absolutely must grasp, and it comes down to a battle between superficial breadth and analytical depth. On one side, we have superficial breadth. This is where candidates just list generic facts about family patterns. It's the I memorize the textbook approach. On the other side is analytical depth. This requires logical, structured reasoning and brilliant cross-topic connections. The theoretical architecture of this syllabus rests on precise definitions and causal relationships. The assessment framework ruthlessly prioritizes analytical depth over merely memorizing a wide breadth of facts. Let's break down the anatomy of the command words you'll face. You have to deeply understand the contrast between analyze versus evaluate and explain versus to what extent. If a prompt asks you to evaluate and you merely explain the situation, your mark is capped, period. If we highlight the command word, the required content knowledge, and the hidden constraints of any prompt, you'll see that principal examiner reports constantly highlight one thing. Candidates who reference cross-topic connections, like how macroeconomic shifts directly impact traditional Afrikaner family roles, achieve significantly higher marks. You have to connect the dots to show that depth. These core principles build directly into the assessment objectives. The examiners are specifically targeting 3 distinct cognitive domains, and you need to hit all of them. Think of it as a 3-column matrix. Column 1 is knowledge and understanding, or AO1. This is your baseline. This is knowing the specific Afrikaans vocabulary, like using kerngesin for a nuclear family or enkel oorgesin for a single-parent family. But knowledge alone won't save you. You must move to column 2, analysis, or AO2. This is interpreting the relationships from the provided texts, exploring the how and the why behind changing family dynamics. And finally, we arrive at column 3, evaluation, AO3. This is the absolute crown jewel of grading. Evaluation is where you weigh the arguments, question the text, and justify your decisions with hard evidence. If you're missing even one of these columns in your response, say you have great vocabulary but 0 evaluation, your grade hits a brick wall. You have to demonstrate competence across all 3 domains simultaneously. Moving into Section 2, the procedural framework, securing the method mark. Now that we know exactly what the examiner wants, let's talk about the technical methodology required to systematically process and deconstruct these complex exam questions. The crucial concept here is what examiners call the method mark strategy. Marks are awarded for systematic process and clear working. In these exams, especially when interpreting dense Afrikaans texts about changing Gezinsactiviteiten or family activities, it is absolutely not just about jumping to the final conclusion. Examiners want to see your brain on the page. They reward the analytical process and the logical sequence you use to get to your answer. If you show you're working clearly and trace the cultural shifts logically step by step, you secure vital method marks, even if your final conclusion isn't perfect. So what is the sequence? Here is the standardized 5-step process for absolute success. Step 1, deconstruct the question. Step 2, extract the data. Step 3, select an analytical framework. Step 4, execute and verify. Step 5, present correctly. Let's look at how this plays out in real life by bringing you into a collaborative digital study suite with two of my top scholars, Alex and Sam. They are looking at the exact same 15-mark essay question. Now, Alex is highly technical, absolutely excels at memorizing formulas and facts, but really struggles when it comes to open-ended evaluation. Sam, on the other hand, is a super creative thinker, incredibly strong at building arguments, but often falls apart with structural precision and timing. So they are staring at step 1. Alex immediately jumps in and says, "Look, we just need to list the facts. Let's jump straight to step 2, extract the data on nuclear families. Get the vocabulary down on paper. The examiner wants breadth." But Sam pushes back hard, arguing, "No way. If we just list facts, we're stuck in the lower bands. We need a broader conceptual perspective. We have to select an analytical framework first, like step 3 says, to actually show how modern economic shifts are altering these family patterns." Alex argues back, "But we don't have time to be philosophical. We need to execute and verify." And this right here, this peer debate, is exactly where you unlock the top-tier marking bands. They are debating AO1, the knowledge, versus AO2 and AO3, the analysis and evaluation. Sam realizes that without the framework, the facts mean nothing. Alex realizes that without the precise facts, the framework is just empty words. It's about executing all 5 steps systematically, from extracting the stimulus data to presenting it with the correct Afrikaans terminology.
Let's transition to Section 3, Critical Examiner Traps, where top students fail.
We are going to dive into exclusive intel derived directly from the Cambridge Principal Examiner reports. But before we reveal these traps, I want you to think about this for a second. Why do so many top-tier students who have studied for hundreds of hours, who know the vocabulary back to front, lose easy points in this 15% section? What is the disconnect between knowing the material and scoring the marks? Right before we solve this and get to the hardest part of the problem, I'm going to pause our session. Listen, if you are serious about cracking these Cambridge exams, you need consistent high-level strategy every single week. So right now, I need you to hit that subscribe button for the channel Ace the Exams IGCSE O and A levels. That's at @ACExam_IGCSE. Make sure you enable all notifications, hit that bell, so you literally never miss a Cambridge breakthrough strategy. You've got it? Awesome. Let's get back to the roadblocks. Here is the stark reality. These are the top 3 fatal mistakes highlighted by senior examiners. Number 1, vague answers lacking specific details. Number 2, forgetting to check format and presentation. And number 3, answers not specific to the context given. Let's check back in with Alex and Sam. They are actively drafting a model response, paragraph by paragraph, and they've just hit a massive roadblock regarding paragraph linking and timing. Alex's draft is falling right into trap number 1. It's a vague answer lacking specific details. Alex just wrote that family activities have changed over time. Sam is falling into trap number 2, forgetting the format constraints. The prompt asked for a formal article, but Sam is writing a loose, casual narrative. And crucially, their combined answer hits trap number 3. It is not specific to the context given in the stimulus text. They are stuck, the clock is ticking, and they are bleeding points. So, I step in. I pause their session and introduce the cognitive strategy to get unstuck. I tell them, look, you have to anchor your argument to the exact text. We take Alex's vague sentence and Sam's poor formatting, and we rewrite it out loud together. Instead of saying, families are different now, we write a perfectly structured sentence. Due to rapid urbanization detailed in the text, traditional Afrikaner family activities have shifted from communal, rural gatherings to isolated, dual-income urban routines, directly impacting the Kyrgyzstan structure. Boom. That is the clear transition from a mediocre 0-mark sentence to a flawless, full-mark response. Consider this highly classified intel direct from the source. The report says, examiner alert. The classic mistake is providing generic answers. Always link every point to the given scenario. You have to treat this quote like the absolute law. If you write a brilliant, highly academic essay on the sociology of family activities, but it doesn't directly analyze the specific text excerpt provided in the exam paper, say a passage specifically about dual-income households in modern South Africa, you get 0 for analytical application. 0. I cannot stress this enough. You must anchor every single observation, every piece of vocabulary to the specific stimulus material in front of you. Let's elevate our game and move to Section 4, Mastering Evaluation, the top-tier mark scheme. Welcome to our immersive visual workshop. I am addressing you directly right now. What does evaluation actually look like to a Cambridge examiner? It boils down to this definition.
Evaluative thinking is questioning assumptions, considering different perspectives, identifying limitations, and justifying decisions with evidence. Let's put 60 seconds on the clock for a quick mental exercise. Imagine I just displayed a complex text excerpt on screen discussing traditional versus modern family roles. Don't just summarize it. To hit the top band, you need to evaluate the quality of the evidence. You have to ask, what assumptions is the author making about rural versus urban families? Are there alternative interpretations of this data? What is the author leaving out? Is there a bias? That level of critical interrogation is how you secured those final, incredibly elusive evaluation marks.
To execute that level of evaluation effortlessly, I want you to use this 5-step deconstruct, solve, evaluate framework for complex, open-ended responses. First, identify the given information. Second, break your argument into logical sequential steps. Third, solve the problem or structure the essay systematically. Fourth, check for reasonableness. And fifth, make justified recommendations based strictly on the text. Let's do another workshop exercise. Spot the flaw. Imagine a poorly written student answer that completely skips step 4 and 5. The student identifies the info but never checks if their conclusion makes sense within the Afrikaans cultural context, and never justifies their final recommendation. By systematically highlighting those errors and annotating the correct paths, by forcing yourself to slow down and verify your logic, you avoid the exact trap set by examiners. You move from just translating Afrikaans to actively evaluating it.
Now we are entering the final phase of our explainer. Here's a quick strategy suggested by examiners. Under exam time pressure, cognitive load is your worst enemy. Your brain will freeze. So use a memory hack. Create a quick acronym for the core factors affecting family activities and new patterns. Things like economic shifts, technology, changing social norms, and urbanization. Having an acronym locked in your brain allows for instant exam recall. Alex and Sam both shared their personal breakthroughs after using this. Alex realized that having an acronym meant no longer forgetting the theoretical framework when stressed, and Sam realized it provided the exact structural precision needed to organize those creative arguments. It helps you instantly draw those high-scoring cross-topic connections without panicking while the clock is ticking down. Let's wrap up this explainer by synthesizing everything into 3 core, memorable pillars you can take into the exam hall tomorrow. Number 1, the 3-step question scan. Always isolate the command word, the content, and the constraint. Number 2, the paragraph balance formula. Every paragraph must blend knowledge, analysis, and evaluation. And number 3, the last 5 minutes review checklist, checking your format, your context, and your reasonableness. I want to leave you with one final provocative question. Are you answering the question you practiced, or are you actually analyzing the specific scenario the examiner gave you? It is human nature to want to regurgitate the essay you memorized the night before, but as we've seen today, Cambridge demands analytical depth, systematic procedure, and context-specific evaluative thinking. Crushing Cambridge exams requires consistent strategy. The next step is yours. Hit that subscribe button for Ace the Exam's IGCSE O and A levels right now, turn on the notification bell so you're first in line for our future exam hacks, and leave a comment below with your exact target grade. Put it out there. Deconstruct, extract, execute, and evaluate. Thank you so much for joining me, and go ace that exam.